Welcome to MarcusG.tv. I'm Chef Marcus Giuliano, and I'm a chef on a mission. What's today's mission, Jamie?
Today we're going to talk about fish.
My favorite.
Sustainability with fish and consumers going out to restaurants, so guests going out to restaurants, and how they approach seafood in a restaurant.
Great. Well, so we're talking about sustainable seafood.
Yes.
We jumped in the bandwagon of sustainable seafood back in 1999. So I have 15 years of experience in sustainable seafood and thousands of hours of research, of talking to fish vendors, of talking to the fishermen, of going to trade shows like the Boston Seafood Show, and doing constant research every week and reading articles and just being on top of my game as far as sustainable seafood in general. So this is a great topic.
Now, we've been on top of it for 10 years.
At Aroma Thyme since we opened.
Right. We opened the
So if you don't see your favorite fish at Aroma Thyme, there's a reason for it. It's because it's not quite so sustainable. It could have high mercury levels. It could not have enough population to support catching it. It could be coming from waters that aren't quite the cleanest water. So there's a lot of factors that go into sustainable seafood. Another factor is bycatch. So if you catch like a pound of shrimp in the wild, sometimes you'll have 7 to 15 pounds of other unwanted species that you're catching that the boat doesn't have any use for. It's called bycatch. It's really terrible. And wild shrimp is very notorious for bycatch because they dredge the bottom of the ocean. So they'll go through with a rake and just dredge everything in its way. In the process of dredging everything that's in the way, they do something called habitat destruction. So not only are they taking all the living organisms out of the way that, like the other unwanted fish, but they're also taking all the sea coral and everything else. It's taken years and years to grow and proliferate, and that fragile seabed, they're just destroying it. So there's a lot of different factors when we talk about sustainable seafood. Now, sustainable seafood for us has been our mainstay since we opened in 2003. And we don't budge. It has to be sustainable for us to serve it. There's a lot of ways to check sustainability of seafood. You can go onto Monterey Bay Aquarium, Seafood Watch. You can go on to fishchoice.com. New England Bay Aquarium actually works with restaurants to help restaurants pick more sustainable seafood. So there's a lot of different guides out there that you can actually pick. Friends of the Sea. If you go to fishchoice.com, they're really in-depth and they'll list all the ratings. So Jamie, this article...
So we got an article sent to us because we're restaurateurs, and we get some special articles sent to us every so often from some trade magazines.
Right, these are trade magazines. These are industry insiders.
So from Seafood Business, and it was an article, it's called Top Story, Fish Fact or Fiction. Seafood lovers tell researchers one thing, restaurateurs another. So as I was reading this article, I found it very interesting that once a consumer, a guest is sitting at a table at a restaurant, they kind of take away the sustainability that they said was so important at the beginning, and they don't ask questions, and they don't ask the waiter what kind of seafood it is, where it comes from, and all of the questions that need to go along with it.
So the surveys say that the restaurant industries are doing, the seafood industry is doing, the surveys say, the consumers are saying, we want sustainable seafood. But now the chefs are saying, when they come into the restaurant,
they don't care.
They don't care
anyway.
They don't care about sustainable seafood. They'll order farmed salmon, unsustainable farmed salmon. They'll order, wild caught shrimp or whatever. They'll order things. But the main thing is, I think the big problem, Jamie, is the chefs who they're interviewing. Like if you were to interview me, I would say absolutely my guests are concerned about sustainable seafood. Absolutely. And in fact, that's all that I sell, and people love what we do. And the articles, I think, is misleading by asking chefs who really aren't doing.
Maybe they're not doing.
They're not
doing the sustainability, nor is it part of their menu and their.
You have to think, like, even McDonald's is now using fish for their fish fillet that comes from MSC certified sustainable seafood. And if McDonald's and Wendy's are sourcing like this, it's definitely on the forefront of.
Well, I think people are concerned. But once they get into a restaurant, their main concern is about taste.
About taste.
Taste and nourishment, and then it becomes about sustainability.
But I think another issue here is that guests are afraid to ask.
I think they are.
We had a guest the other night that I heard her ask you, is the salmon farmed? And you said no, and she even asked you like 2 or 3 times.
She said, are you sure? And I said, absolutely not. And I went in and I actually explained to them that our fish comes in frozen because wild salmon this time of the year is not in season. And she was she was so happy that she asked that question, and she felt very pleased with my answer. You rushed over and of course
then I wowed her.
Continued the conversation with her, but she was very happy to know that we only had, and she said she will not eat farm-raised fish or salmon at all.
At all. Now, it's odd because, it's not odd, but a lot of restaurants out there think that they're serving wild salmon because it's farmed king salmon from New Zealand or farmed king salmon from British Columbia or from the Faroe Islands, some exotic place, like up in the Faroe Islands. So a lot of restaurateurs and chefs think that, oh, well, we're just serving wild salmon because it comes from the ocean, right? Now this guest knew enough to ask a second time and really confirm that, hey, are you really serving wild salmon? So sometimes you just can't take for granted a restaurant's first answer, because really the waiter sometimes is just going to say anything. The server can just say anything like, oh yes, and even the chef in the kitchen, if you check out my foodfraudtv.com, you'll find some conversations I have with some really high, powerful chefs that are just totally misled of what they're serving. They're misled and they're misleading consumers. So I think the consumer, as a consumer, you don't be afraid to ask and ask again and really ask for proof that, well, are you really serving sustainable seafood? Now, if you're going to a good restaurant, they're going to make anything taste good, right, Jamie?
Of course.
That's our job as a chef, is to take ingredients and make it taste good. And I also think it's our obligation as restaurateurs to factor in sustainability and factor in nutrition, because in fact we are the stewards of the ocean. We are the stewards of the food that we're serving, of Mother Nature. And I believe as a chef, I can influence 100 people a night. And if I can make my food taste good, nutritious, and sustainable, I've done my job all the way around, as opposed to a chef who's not doing his part, of using an unsustainable resource or not making it nutritious. After all, we want all of our customers to be healthy. We want our food to taste good. We want repeat business, and that's how you do it, by doing all that. So as a guest, please speak up. If you come to my restaurant, please ask questions. We'll be happy to answer questions. We love questions. I'll personally come to the table from there and answer any questions and any concerns that you have about any of the food that you're eating. So please speak up. And to the chefs that aren't serving this type of food, you aren't factoring sustainability into your menu, you really should think about it, because it's not that difficult anymore to factor sustainability. Sometimes the food does cost more, as in the case of wild salmon versus farm salmon, but your guests will absolutely appreciate it and know the difference. That's good, right, Jamie?
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah. If you like this video,
questions.
if you like this video, please hit like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Chef Marcus Giuliano.